Hello! Hi. How are you doing? Let's see, gotta get my notes ready. And some other stuff. Let's go, let's go. Oh my god. The way I look today. So I got this new shirt, and I'm not sure if I need to button up the last button over here or not, because this is looking a little bit like uptight, if you will. But like if I open it, I almost look like a jiggle or something. So yeah, I'm not sure about that. Let me know. Very important. Anyways, if you're here, awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your time with me. But if you're going to watch this later on, I'm going to be adding timestamps to this live stream a little bit later on, potentially today, probably tomorrow, because today I'm not going to have that much time left after the live stream, because right now it is already 7 o'clock p.m. And yeah, I don't really want to stay up here late at night. Just putting these timestamps into the live stream. But I'm going to talk about a few important things. As you might know, I took the week off last week. I had the time to think a little bit about my business, about YouTube, about social media, about my courses, about Discord, about my mission, about lots of other things. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the improvements that I want to implement in the next coming weeks, next coming months, next coming years, potentially even. And today we're also going to talk about my portfolio, because the week or the month actually has just closed. So we've got a new month, and that means that I right now have a new update with regards to my portfolio, the return on investment, how my crypto, how my stocks are all doing. Of course, crypto has not done very well in the last month. But yeah, we're going to take a look at that as well. And then we are also going to take a look at the business updates. So just to give you an idea of how much revenue I'm bringing in with regards to my translation business, and with regards to like Nesami, my YouTube project, and my other projects. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. If you're in here, let me know who you are today. Let's see who we got today. I just sent a message to the Discord members, or not just the Discord members, but basically everyone who is in the Discord. They should have received a notification on Discord. So let's see if they are going to show up today. Would be pretty cool. And again, if not, then it's awesome if you're going to watch this later on. And again, then please use the timestamps if they are available at that time. What's up, K-Chen? How are you doing, sir? What is up? Let's see. Let's actually switch my view. Go to this one over here. Can I still see myself? Yes, I can. Very well. I was actually looking at this. As you might know, workhorse is one of my positions. I think my smallest position, or like my almost smallest position. And currently, it seems like we are getting some kind of short squeeze, or yeah, potentially something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen to this stock. I'm just going to continue to hold, by the way. But yeah, we're not going to talk a lot about stocks today. What's up, Cesar? Just on for a few minutes as I'm about to watch the CRS22 launch. Too much skin. Skin in the game, you mean? Well, that's going to be exciting. That's going to be exciting. Have fun. Have fun. Is there a live stream going on or something? Anyways, let's pull up this sheet over here. I'm sorry for blinding your eyes if that is actually the case. A lot of people might be having lunch now. Yeah, I suppose so. I suppose so. This is I always kind of like need to think about how much, or like at what time I should publish my live streams, at what time I should do my live streams. Because for me it is 7 o'clock p.m. and I use the day to do like, I don't know, things for videos and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, something that I'm going to discuss later on is also that I'm likely going to decrease the amount of live streams that I do from once a week to probably just once a month. And I'll explain to you a little bit later on why that is. Okay, so let's go through my portfolio, hopefully a little bit quickly today. Let's see if we can actually do that. So right now we are on the cash crypto stocks. What's up, Gurvinder? And here we can see that the amount of crypto has decreased, of course, over the last month or so. It was about 54% of my portfolio a month ago, and right now it is about 47% of my portfolio at basically the 1st of June, so just a few days ago. The amount of stocks is now at 40% of my net worth, and 13% is sitting in cash right now. So that is basically what's going on right here. Yes, the entire composition of the portfolio was mainly affected because crypto had a pretty bad month, of course. I think I went down about, sounds really weird. I think my crypto portfolio went down about like 30% in 1 month, but all good, all good. I am long-term focused for the next couple of like 5 years or so, or probably even longer, so I don't really mind 1 month of price action. Okay, so let's get into the stocks first. And we can see that right now I only have 3% of swing trades right now. That was actually 16% a month ago. The rest is all in a long-term portfolio or like long-term holdings. The 3%, or sorry, the 16% in swing trades was mainly in FRX, the one that's going to merge with Beachbody, GNPK, which was going to merge with Redwire, and TSIA merging with Latch. Now, the reason for which I went out of my swing trades and into more long-term stocks is the following, because these specs, FRX, GNPK, TSIA, these all basically went sideways, kind of. They stayed just above the net asset value of $10 per share. So that was basically a way for myself to park some cash, if you will. If they would have gone up, that would have been nice, but they stayed flat, unfortunately. But at some point, I was like, okay, these are staying flat for now, so that probably means that right now I need to put the money from the swing trades into my long-term holds, because many of my long-term holds had been declining quite a bit. So now I was able to buy the dip in some of my long-term holds. I basically added to like half of my position, or half of my portfolio, like Lemonade, ChargePoint, View, I believe, too, some other stocks. So I just took out all of the money from the swing trades and put that money into my long-term holds to basically buy the dip. Now, with regards to the swing trades, about 3% of my stock portfolio is in swing trades. I'm still kind of back holding highly on, as you might know, and I still have my semi-swing trade of GIK, which now is a ZEV, of course. I should probably sell these soon and just put that money into the long-term holds as well. But yeah, so far I haven't really been bothered to do that. Kind of waiting for a move to the upside, but that is probably not the best way to think about it. So let's then talk about the 97% of the stock portfolio, which is in long-term holds. Right now I have about 14 or 15 stocks, depending on how you look at it, in long-term holds. And as you can see, 0% is in VACQ. I only have 2 shares of VACQ because these are all donations from Cesar. I'm not sure if he's still in the chat right now, but basically all the money that has been donated by Cesar has been going into the VACQ stock, so that's pretty funny. But yeah, only 2 shares over there. And then the rest of the portfolio, something important to know is that ALPP is likely a stock that I'm going to be selling out of at some point. I was kind of waiting for the moment that ALPP was going to go uplist to the NASDAQ, which unfortunately has not happened just yet. They were going to do that a few months ago, and yeah, unfortunately there's a lot of delays going on over there, so I haven't really been able to sell a lot just yet. I did sell a little bit over the last couple of weeks and months, and I put that money into TPGY, as you might know, or especially as the Discord Premium members know, and you can join that by going to nesami.com/member. But yeah, ALPP is not a stock that I'm likely going to hold for the longer term, so that is probably going to be a sell potentially in the next coming months or so. So let's see how that is going to play out. Xpeng is also a similar stock. I do think what's up, Cesar? Have a good one. Have fun with the launch. Xpeng is one of the stocks that I don't really want to hold for the long term. I might hold this for like a few months or potentially even a year or so, depending on how quickly this is going to rebound back to. Not entirely sure if I'm going to hold until the previous all-time highs, but I definitely think this is one of the more undervalued stock, especially in the EV sector. And the reason for not holding it is because I'm already quite exposed basically to EV stocks and also to the entire sustainable energy movement. So I don't really want to hold Xpeng. I don't really want to hold ALPP. But I do want to hold the rest of the stocks. Lemonade right now is my largest position, 11% of the long-term hold portfolio. That basically has been the case because Lemonade has been going up more than the rest of the stocks have gone up. I did add a little bit just like a few weeks ago or potentially even a month ago. But yeah, I didn't really add that many stocks to my position. As you might know, TPGY was my largest position in the last coming couple of months, but I didn't sell any of my shares. The stock just has gone down, and that is the reason for which it now is the third largest stock instead of the first largest stock. Some other companies that are interesting to talk about is Stem, for example. Stem is one of my newest positions, one of my newest long-term positions. This is a stock that I definitely need to do more research about. I haven't, I have only done a few videos about this company, about Stem. I only did a little bit of research, but I definitely need to dive deeper into this company, but I definitely like it so far. My target was to have it as more or less my fourth or fifth largest position, and right now that has been accomplished. So yeah, I'm pretty much going to keep it as is. And something else, I see a question about Teladoc from K Chen. Not sure if Teladoc is going to still go up after COVID is over. I had a feeling that is the next Zoom. Yeah, well, personally, I'm still in the bandwagon of, I do think that it is going to go up after COVID is over. I do think we will see a shift from in-person meetings with physicians to simply Zoom meetings with your physicians, because it's going to save a lot of time. And basically, I think that if companies have products or services that are going to save people a lot of time, then I think those companies will thrive if they are able to market themselves well, if they are able to provide quality services. So personally, I do think Teladoc can still be one of the winners in the healthcare sector over the next 5 years or so. And luckily, ARK Invest still believes that too, because ARK Invest has Teladoc as it's one of the largest positions of their ETFs. So that's always pretty good. One more interesting company is potentially Ag Eagle UAVS. I might add a little bit to my position there. It's definitely a very, very much long-term play, and I am still bullish about the company. I probably still need to do a video, because recently we learned the news that we right now are going to have a different CEO. I made a video about the CEO of Ag Eagle a while ago. I already said that it was quite likely that we were going to see Michael Drost leaving the company, and right now we have a CEO that has very good connections with the basically the what do you call it? This committee with people who are it's like a drone advisory committee, I believe that's the name. And this drone advisory committee is basically giving advice to the regulators with regards to drone regulations. So I do think that the connections that the next CEO is going to have, Declet, he is probably going to be quite helpful to the overall mission of Ag Eagle. So that's going to be interesting to see. And apart from that, I don't really think there's a lot going on. Well, Workhorse right now is seemingly having a little bit of a short squeeze. This overview is, of course, from the 1st of June. So right now, it's probably going to shift a little bit. I suppose that Workhorse right now is not my smallest position, but I believe right now it is my position number 11 or so out of 14 or 15, something like that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to take profits or if I'm going to take a little bit off the table, because there have been some issues with Workhorse. I wasn't going to add to my position, but I might take advantage of this semi-short squeeze. I'm not sure if it is actually a short squeeze or not. I'm not sure if the short interest has been going down. But yeah, that is definitely something I'm going to be keeping my eye on for the next coming weeks and months, hopefully. So I believe that's about everything I wanted to say about my portfolio. Let's then go to crypto. So as you can see, more than half of my crypto portfolio is still in Bitcoin. I wouldn't really mind having about like, what do you call it? Like 50% of my money in Bitcoin. Whoa, what's up, K-Chen? Thank you very much for the donation there. Thank you, thank you. That's pretty cool. Anything you wanna, anything you want? Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. You definitely don't really need to do that, but I do appreciate it very much. So thank you for that. Very awesome. Anyways, I wouldn't mind having about 50% in Bitcoin instead of about 60%, and then 50% in altcoins. And the thing is, if I would have more money available, because right now, of course, crypto is my largest portfolio, or like my largest allocation, if you look at my net worth, and I wouldn't mind having Bitcoin just as half of that and the rest in altcoins. The thing is, if I would have more money available, I would likely put that additional money into altcoins instead of Bitcoin, because I do think there are some interesting movements going on, especially in the DeFi space with regards to Aave, for example. I definitely think Aave can be a good winner. What's up, Milton? I don't own any ACTC myself. No, but did I make a video? I'm not even sure if I made a video, but if you want to know a little bit more information about the valuation of ACTC, please check out, or please Google ACTC Protera valuation, and then the name of the guy who I interviewed, which right now is completely gone. So I did an interview, Mark Haig. That is the name of the guy that you might want to Google. Could be interesting. Okay, so this is with regards to my crypto portfolio. I suppose one thing I'll say about this is that I had a very small, like, semi-swing trade in Chiliz. Chiliz is my allocation to NFTs, if you will, but it's just a very tiny part of my portfolio, so it's not really significant in any way. But I do think Chiliz can have a pretty good couple of months in the next coming months, and that is basically mainly because of the reasons that I mentioned in my video about Chiliz just a few weeks ago, I think. Okay, so that is basically everything I wanted to tell about the crypto portfolio. Let's then quickly go to the ROI. And let's see, to react on, ooh, we have an interesting comment here. To react on your earlier comment, your shirt looks great. Very fashionable, elegant. Well, thank you very much, always healthy. I really appreciate that. I suppose you have a great taste in clothing as far as I can tell. So thank you very much for the beautiful comment. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about my ROI so far this year. This is all year to date. With regards to my stocks, I am down a little bit. Well, a little bit, I suppose you can say it's relatively significant, I'm not sure. But it is 8.7% down for the year to date so far. Crypto luckily is still holding up the entire portfolio. It was up a lot more, of course, but right now in May we had a pretty bad month, and that is the reason for which crypto has gone down to only 66% year to date of return on investment. So if you take into account that crypto is the largest portion of my net worth, if you take into account that I still have a cash position that of course doesn't really appreciate in value, then the total amount of return on investment for this year to date is about 20.8%. So still awesome, of course. Let's see if crypto is going to rebound in the next month or so. That would be pretty good to see. And also if stocks are going to go back, that would be pretty awesome too. Then let's also talk a little bit about our business, or our business, my business, but maybe also a little bit our business. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But yeah, with regards to my income, it has gone down a little bit over time in the last coming months, especially if you look at the Alpha Lingua. Alpha Lingua is my translation business agency. I have been a translator for, well, basically quite a few years, like 5 years or so, I think. I first started out at a translation agency, SDL. You might know it if you're a little bit into translations, but it is one of the larger translation companies out there. Right now I'm working as a freelance translator, and I'm kind of doing less and less work in the translation industry. So right now, it looks like we are getting fewer translations over time in the last coming weeks, last coming months. That mainly has to do with the summer period, because in the summer, the businesses usually don't need a lot of translations. So that is the reason for which the amount of revenue for Alpha Lingua, my translation business, has gone down in the month of May compared to month of April. And also in April, it was significantly lower compared to March, for example. Then with regards to Nesami, so basically this is my income from not only YouTube, so the AdSense revenue, which is basically the revenue for, well, if you watch my videos and if you see an ad, then I get paid money for that. A very tiny amount of money, but so far this year, or this month actually, that was about 300 euros in revenue. Apart from that, I always also have some revenue in Discord Premium. So people who pay Discord Premium, they go into my Discord, they pay a monthly fee of about $10 per share, which you can also do. You can also do that for free for 1 month by going to nesami.com/member. And after that, then you can actually join the Discord for $10 per month. So a few people are doing that, and apart from that, I also started my technical analysis course, which you can check out by going to nesami.com/TA. Then you can check out the course, which, yeah, I just had a few sales this month. I'm definitely going to start the marketing for the technical analysis course, because I haven't really done that just yet, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on in this live stream too. So I think that's everything I wanted to say about that. My personal expenses were a little bit high this month, mainly had to do with, well, I had to buy some new clothes. So I had to buy some very fashionably elegant clothes for this month. So that cost a little bit of money, some solid shoes, stuff like that. So basically, I'm not living the extraordinary life or anything like that. And business expenses were, yeah, a little bit lower compared to previous months. So if you take into account that my net revenue was about 1,600 euros in total for this month, and my expenses were like 2,000, then yeah, you have a net loss for the month of May. But all of this is quite short term, of course. I'm just, I kind of want to show you this because in the future, I still want to do this. I still want to show you where my money comes from and what I'm doing with it exactly, because I think that there are just a lot of people that make quite a lot of money and just spend it on kind of like bullshit, if you will, just things that don't really matter in my opinion. But I really want to use the money for, well, in the beginning for myself to basically maintain myself, so that I'm so that I don't really need to do the translations anymore, so that I can focus myself entirely on Nesami, so the business. And then when I have enough money to pay my rent, pay my groceries, pay my very fashionably elegant shirts, then I'm going to build my business more and more. So that is definitely what I'm going to do in the next coming years. Christian says, what are your thoughts about FRX post-merger? Don't really have any additional thoughts, Christian. And K-Chen says, what other languages do you speak? And just curious. So my mother tongue is Dutch and Frisian, which is another language that we speak here in the Netherlands. Then I speak English, of course, and I also speak Spanish, which I studied at university, and I lived there for a few years. So those are the 4 languages that I speak very well. And then there are some languages that I speak a little bit of, like French, a little bit of German, and just a few words of Portuguese, but you don't really want to hear my Portuguese, as César very well knows. So yeah. Gurvinder says, can you look at CX stock? Right now, I'm not going to look at any stocks. I'm first going to go through all of these updates, and if I have any time left, I might do that. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to take a sip of my water and think about the other things I need to say, or look at my notes. All right, very well. So yeah, that is basically it for the business update, I suppose. And I think that gives me time to think or talk to you a little bit about, let's actually go back to the scene one. Hello, scene one. Okay, let's do this. Cool. Cool, let's make this a little bit bigger. I have some notes in front of me, so I'm going to use my notes quite a bit. Because, as you might know, last week I had a week off to think a little bit about my business, about growing my business, about everything that I'm doing currently. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about the most important things that have been on my mind for the last week or so, or actually the last couple of weeks, couple of months so far. So I think one of the most important things that I have been thinking about last week was that I need some more time to think during the week, because right now I have been very focused on creating videos, just pushing out video after video after video. I was basically making 7 regular videos, so 1 video per day, also in the during the weekends, of course. And then apart from those regular videos, I was also making these stock o'clock videos of just 1 minute from Monday to Friday. So in total, I was making about 12 videos per week of regular ones and stock o'clock videos. And that is taking up quite some time. And it doesn't really leave me with a lot of time to basically think and think a little bit more, brainstorm a little bit more about the growth of my business, because that is definitely something I want to achieve in the next coming months, in the next coming years. So I have been thinking about that a little bit. First of all, I want to cut back on the amount of videos that I'm pushing out. I want to go back from 7 to at least just 5. So I don't really want to make videos for the weekend anymore. On Saturday and Sunday, I'm not going to post any videos. I'm just going to post videos from Monday to Friday right now. and that is going to free up a little bit of my time, just a few hours per week that I can be using to think about the growth of my business, about my whole strategy here. With regards to the live streams, I think I'm going to go back to just doing a live stream once a month, because the thing is, I haven't really been able to find a lot of value that I can provide during the live streams to you. The thing is that usually when I do these live streams, I just go live, I see what kind of people are on there, and I basically talk about all the questions you have. Like, if someone asks me to look at the CX stock, then we look at the CX stock, but there's no like preparation. I just open the charts and we talk about the stocks that are being mentioned in the comments. So yeah, that is cool, of course, it's okay, but it's mainly cool for the like 15 people who are there during the live stream. So I can't really add a lot of value to a lot of people's lives, if you will, just the 15 people who are in there during the live stream. The thing is that after the live stream is published, people can still watch it, but if you look at the analytics of live streams, then if you look at the chart, it basically goes, it basically goes like this. The first minute or so, kind of like 300 people or so watch the first minute, and then it just declines very rapidly after a few minutes or so, because people just don't really stick around for all those live streams because they are quite long. So yeah, I kind of think that I'm not really able to provide a lot of value during the live streams just yet, just like a unique value, because someone also said, well, maybe you should talk a little bit more about the recent news, so you can talk about like major SPAC news or major crypto news, stuff like that. I think that could be valuable, but I think that many people are already doing that. And if you have a large channel, then a lot of people are going to find you. If you're like Meet Kevin and you have 1.5 million subscribers, then a lot of people are going to watch you. But if you have only 8,000 subscribers, then just not a lot of people are going to find you, and YouTube isn't really pushing people to those live streams. So that is a little bit unfortunate, and also a little bit, I would say, not entirely a waste of my time, but I think that my time could be used for something better. Because if I use those 2 hours that I'm live streaming, or like 1.5 hours, whatever it may be, and I think really well about the growth of my business, I think that 1.5 hours or 2 hours of time that I spend thinking about my business is going to have a way larger impact in the long term on all of you, not just the 15 people who are watching the live stream, but basically the thousands of people who watch my videos, and hopefully in the future lots more. So yeah, I think that has a little bit more value, maybe not in the short term, but I do think in the long term it does provide more value. I do think I'm going to start, or basically do live streams once a month to basically do what I'm doing right now. I'm talking about the portfolio update, business update, my goals, my missions, stuff like that. So I do think I want to do that once a month, which basically is going to be the first Thursday of every new month, right? So I'm probably going to do that. I was talking to you that I need more time to think, because right now I have just been pushing out videos. I don't really have a lot of time to think left. So right now, what I want to do is to have at least 1 hour per day that I spend thinking about my business, about growing my business, because I definitely think I need that time to basically, really think about the strategies involved with regards to promoting the technical analysis course, promoting the Discord Premium, but also just carrying out my mission, if you will, which is something I'm going to talk about right now, because I think that I need to make clear what my mission is exactly. I want to come up with a mission statement about the things that I'm actually doing right now, because right now I'm making these YouTube videos and people are hopefully enjoying them, and so far it does seem that that is the case. But the thing is, being a YouTuber is just part of something bigger in my case, because many people don't really know what I want to do in the long term. What I want to do is make sure that everyone knows how to manage their money and how to invest. And right now, being on YouTube is just a small building piece, if you will, to construct that mission. So what I want to do is I want to put a mission statement of my mission on my website, so that people are regularly reminded of what I'm trying to do in the long term, not just in the short term. Because in the short term, yes, I'm making videos, but it is basically in order to build a community, in order to build a reputation, in order to build trust. And that, I believe, are some of the pieces, some of the aspects that I'm going to be needing in the longer term when I want to create a larger movement and to carry out my mission. So that is something that I have been thinking about, and definitely something I want to do with that mission statement on my website. You're probably going to see that in a few weeks or so. Also, the word leader, I have been thinking about that a little bit, because naturally I'm not really, I don't think I can be considered to be a born leader, but I do think I will need to be a leader in order to lead the movement, lead my mission towards making sure that everyone knows how to manage their money. And yeah, if there's no leader for this mission, then I don't really think that is going to be carried out. So I definitely need to take on the role of a leader, which definitely is probably difficult for me. But I will look into what kinds of things I'm going to be doing. Of course, what I'm doing is already kind of leading, but I think I need to be talking a little bit more about that, if you will. Talking a little bit more about my mission, about what my goals are, so that people know that I'm not just talking about short-term making YouTube videos, but that it is a larger movement that I'm currently working on. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense, but it is very important to me. I created a little roadmap to carry out my mission, and I think I already mentioned this during the last portfolio and business update of last month. But basically what I want to do first is improve my YouTube channel. Some things that I want to work on is, for example, audience retention. Right now it is a little bit on the lower end. Audience retention basically means the percentage of the video that is being watched by the people. And I'm not sure what the percentage is right now, but I definitely want to make that a little bit higher. So I need to think about strategies and like tips and whatever to make the audience retention higher, so that more people watch my video, and not just more people watch my video, but that people watch my videos longer overall. So that is one of the improvements that I want to do, but I've got many more improvements that I'm going to be working on in the next coming weeks, next coming months. So at the same time, I'm also going to be working on my technical analysis course. Right now it is already available, of course, and it is for sale. But I want to work a little bit more on the marketing side of things. I'm going to be I'm going to be thinking a little bit more about my marketing strategies for that. So that is going to be very important too. I'm probably going to be using the help of people on Fiverr or Upwork, so that these people, of course, know way more about marketing than I do. And if I could do the marketing myself, but then I would need to do a lot of studying. I would need to figure out what the best way would be. But instead of that, I think I'm just going to be using the services of some other people who already have a lot of knowledge about marketing. But the basic idea is to have ads on one hand, but also the YouTube videos on the other hand, to basically create a funnel where people come from ads and from YouTube into a webinar where I'm going to talk a little bit about technical analysis. I'm going to explain what it is. I'm going to give some examples. I'm going to teach a few things, and then basically introduce the technical analysis course. So that is the very, very, very basic idea of the marketing that is going to be behind promoting the technical analysis course. Let's see, so talked about YouTube. Discord. In Discord, I'm also going to be working about my Discord channel. I want to make it more exclusive, so I'm likely just going to make it only for premium members. Right now, there are about 450 people in the free Discord, I believe. But I'm kind of thinking that I want more exclusivity, and I want to have a channel that is just for premium members. So I just still need to think about that. But I do think that will be a good idea. I might still have one free channel for the supporters of my mission, if you will, but I'll explain a little bit more about that later on when I can announce a little bit more about those kinds of things. What else? Yeah, so the word, this is actually a little like side note. The word millennials, as you might know, right now my YouTube channel is Nesami Smart Investing for Millennials, and I start every video with "What's up, millennials?" The thing is, I think I'm going to drop the millennial part, because right now there are also quite a lot of people who are a little bit younger, who are a little bit older than millennials, and these people might not feel included in the basically like the target group, if you will. And I started this. I started using millennials at the first time because I wanted to create a very specific channel, and I wanted to, yeah, basically that. I wanted to have an exclusive, specific channel just for millennials. But right now, I think that my mission is way larger than just millennials, and I want to make sure that everyone has the feeling that they are being included. So I don't really think millennials is a good part of my strategy anymore. I don't really think I'm going to need it anymore. So I think I'm going to be dropping the millennials part pretty soon. And I'm just going to make it Nesami, and that's about it. I also think I can do this right now because I already have a little bit more subscribers right now. And at the first moment when I had the part Smart Investing for Millennials, it was useful because I was commenting a lot on other people's videos. And when people saw my comments, they also would see the Smart Investing for Millennials part. They would hopefully be triggered into going to my channel, and that would lead to new subscribers. But right now, the way that I acquire new subscribers is basically just by creating videos that are good for search engine optimization, that rank high in the search results, and that way I gain new subscribers, of course. So I don't really think that the millennial part is needed anymore. I'm likely going to be dropping that in the near future. So that is everything with regards to that. Let's pull up back my roadmap. So when I've done all of that, when I've done the improvements in YouTube, technical analysis course, funnel strategy, Discord, I'm also going to be working, or I actually have already a course for beginners, but I'm going to be promoting that later on. Potentially, I'm even going to do a course for people who want to learn a little bit more about being a YouTuber. Then I'm hopefully going to acquire or have an assistant who can help me with things like the editing, for example, which takes a lot of my time, and that could be definitely done by another person so that I can focus my energy on creating videos, but also thinking about the growth of my business and the mission. And at that time, I'm probably also going to be starting to talk at things like universities, schools. I'm going to do interviews, podcasts, social media. I'm going to go to companies to basically carry out my mission to make sure that everyone knows how to invest, how to manage their money. So that is basically my very brief roadmap, if you will, on how I want to go through these things. But I'm also going to publish this roadmap on the same page as my mission statement. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Likely in the next coming weeks, I'm going to be starting to upload I'm just going to post the mission statement on my website and also my roadmap, so you can see what my strategy is. And of course, you can then also help me with that to carry out my mission. So that would be pretty cool. Okay. So let's now go back here. I think that's everything I wanted to say. For now. So that's everything with regards to the portfolio, with regards to my business, with regards to some of the things I have been thinking about. There are more things, of course, because if I right now look at my notes, for example, you can see that I have about 7 pages of notes of the last week, and I definitely need to go back over these notes to see what kind of things I still need to improve for the next coming weeks. So hope that makes sense. Let's just go into the chat. And let's pull up this scene over here. Yeah, very well. Cool. Going to do a few questions. I'm not going to be staying for very, very long. I'm likely going to stay for about half an hour more, and then I'm going to have dinner and play some video games with my friends. So that is also something I need to do, of course. Anyways, let's see. Where were we? So I think we were at Gurvinder's question of CX stock. So let's take a look. And I suppose you mean this one. Is this what kind of company is this? It's not a Dutch company, is it? CX stock. Let's take a look. Mexican. Building materials. Okay. I suppose you mean this one, right? If you mean a different one, then let me know. So I don't know the company. Can you look at CX stock? So I'm not sure what you want to look at, but I suppose you just want to look at the chart, because I don't really know anything about the company. Overall, it seems to be a semi-reversal play, or, well, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, if you take a look at the stock longer term, it's not the most beautiful stock. I mean, if you look at the move from 2007, it basically has been in a downtrend for the last 13, 14 years or so. So that is not too great. Of course, that could change in the future because we are going up right now. But I mean, that could be also a brief moment in time, because here we also had a prolonged move. Let's see what the percentage was basically from top to bottom. That was about 165%, and right now we are already up probably a little bit more, 374% more or less. So is this sustainable? I'm not sure. Could we create a new, basically like a new lower low on the monthly chart, for example, compared to this low over here? Potentially, because if you look at the monthly chart, this is a high. This is a lower high, this is a lower high. So let's now see if we're going to create a lower high too or not. So in general, long term, I'm not bullish about this chart. Short term, however, I would be more bullish instead, because, well, this still looks pretty good. Let's actually go back to the weekly chart for now to see if we have any major resistance levels. A little bit difficult to see. This is definitely an important level to look at, more or less $10, which always is probably an important level because of mental resistance. I think there's quite a lot of volume going. Let's take on the volume profile for a second. Yeah, okay. Difficult. Let's get rid of this. Let's go down to the lower time frames. Yeah. Get rid of that. Let's take a look at the indicators. So I kind of think, I don't really have a strong opinion about this. I mean, overall, it seems pretty good. Of course, we had a strong movement since March 2020, and right now it basically has gone up in a straight line. So far, I would be still bullish about it until we start making lower highs instead. So far, so good, I would say, but it does seem to be, waning a little bit. Right now, we had quite a lot of movements to the upside, but right now we are a little bit waning to potentially the downside. But I think as long as the price action is above the 55 EMA, which is this white line over here, I would still be bullish about this. I mean, the 55 EMA has been catching some of the more like the lowest points. Here we had a nice support on the 55 EMA, here as well, and here as well. So yeah, as long as we are above the 55 EMA, I'm still bullish about this stock. But once we close a daily candlestick below the 55 EMA, I would be a little bit more cautious about this stock. Let's very briefly go back to the weekly. Yeah, I'm not in love with the weekly chart. I definitely think we could see some downside in the next coming months, more or less, because we do see quite a lot of difference between the price action, which is right here at $8.18, and the 55 EMA on the weekly chart, which right now is hovering more or less at $5.80. So I think we could definitely go down in the next coming weeks. I'm not very bullish, I'm not very bearish either. So if I would have to put this in percentages, I think I'm bullish in the short term in the next coming weeks. Just like 55% bullish, 54% or 45% bearish. But in the next coming months, I'm probably 55% bearish and 45% bullish. So in general, kind of neutral. Indicators don't really give me a lot either. These are pretty neutral. This is pretty neutral. This is more slightly bearish actually. So yeah, kind of neutral, but I could definitely see some downside happening. It's probably not very useful, honestly, but I don't really have a strong feeling about this chart, unfortunately, Gurvinder. What's up, George? Hi, man. Did you learn a bit of yourself? Well, I definitely learned a bit about my business and the strategies, and not necessarily about myself. I was already relatively happy with myself. And also, this might be something that people were thinking. I didn't really need the time for myself to think. It wasn't not that I was like burning out or anything like that, but I did need the time to think about my business. So I needed a little bit of free time, because right now, as I've said, I was just pushing out video after video after video. I didn't really have any time to think about my business, and right now I had a week to do that, and yeah, I've definitely been using that. Vamsy says, what do you think about Clover? I don't really have a strong opinion about the business itself. I did hear some negative things with regards to Chamath, or with regards to Clover itself, but I'm not entirely sure what the situation is right now. The earnings You might want to take a look at their earnings if you haven't done so yet. We did bounce off nicely from this support level, so that's pretty good. Technical analysis looks pretty solid, pretty solid, okay-ish. I mean, the trend looks pretty horrible because, yeah, this chart just looks pretty bad. Right here we have a high, a lower high over here, and let's see if we're now going to create a lower or a higher high instead. So purely looking at the trend, I don't really like it. I do like that we are back above the 55 EMA, which is this white line over here. I do like the fact that the RSI is going back to the upside, and we had some bullish divergence, but I think that has already played out. And I also do like the fact that the MACD is pointing back to the upside. So I do like that fact too. And I also like the fact that we have quite a lot of volume on these last couple of days of price action. So far so good. So far so good. I believe Clover is also one of the most shorted stocks out there. And right now there seems to be a lot of interest on the stocks with a lot of short interest, just like a Workhorse, for example. So Clover could definitely be the target of a short squeeze at some point in time. But of course, that is not a very good reason to hold Clover long term. So yeah, not the best. But yeah, do I like the stock? Do I like the technical analysis here? I like the indicators. I don't really like the trends, but if we see a move back above like $11.25, then I would target a move higher, potentially even to this level over here of $13.70 more or less, which is a pretty solid resistance level because of this top, and this low in place. Do you have a preference of individual stocks over ETFs or mutual funds? I personally do. I personally prefer individual stocks. I like to choose my own stocks. I don't really want other people to choose my stocks. So I like having individual stocks for sure, but I also spend a lot of time researching companies, and well, if you don't really have the time to do that and you trust the opinion of other people, then I would definitely go for ETFs instead. CCIV, well, you're just going with it. CCIV, I'm just going to keep it very short, honestly, because I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Seems like the people liked the earnings call, so that's pretty good. Is it? No, oh, wait, earnings call? What? 1st of June, 14th of May. Did they have an earnings call? I mean, this is not lucid yet, right? So not entirely sure why TradingView shows two earnings calls so closely to each other. So then the earnings call doesn't really matter, because if it's the earnings call of the SPAC, then well, it doesn't matter. But we are above the 55 EMA, which actually is the first time that has happened. Let's actually go right here. If you take a look at the white line, then it had been used as resistance since basically March 23rd. It has been trading below the 55 EMA. It was used as resistance over here, but now we are trading above it with okay-ish volume, pretty okay-ish volume. So that's a pretty good sign. We also seemingly are going to have a cross of the 8 daily exponential moving average versus the 55 daily exponential moving average. So that's a pretty solid sign so far. So yeah, that seems pretty good, honestly. The RSI still looks pretty good too. It's pretty constructive, going back to the upside, so I like that. The stochastics, yeah, not entirely good buy signal, but it's okay-ish. MACD is increasingly going to the upside too. So in general, I like it, honestly. I do think we are likely going to pass through this resistance level of $23.85. And I would probably move a target to almost $30, because I do think that's the next important level of resistance. So yeah, I definitely could see a move to $30 in the next coming weeks or so. You're asking about PSTH. Do they already have a target or not? Because I'm not even sure if they have a target. But if they do, let me know. If they don't, I can't really do a lot of technical analysis on a chart that doesn't really have a target, because there's just no fundamentals. But we are trading below the 55 EMA. RSI is neutral. MACD is slightly neutral to slightly bullish, but okay-ish. This just looks sideways to me. I don't really have a strong opinion about this. FTOC has a pretty solid, solid day. 2.5%, but still a pretty okay-ish day compared to the last boring weeks. So pretty okay-ish. We're still below the 55 EMA, so I don't really like that just yet. The RSI looks pretty good though. The MACD looks pretty okay-ish too. So, I mean, we could definitely see a move higher. I wouldn't mind seeing a move higher. What would my target be, however? Because I'm kind of looking at the chart and I can't really find very many important points to look at right now. I kind of think that I would probably move a target to $10.87 more or less, but that's not just that much yet. Just that is not just yet, okay? That is not just yet that much. So yeah, hope that makes any sense. Hope that makes any sense. K-Chen says, don't see you list ETFs in your portfolio. Nope, I don't have any. ASXC says, Vamsi. We looked at this chart previously. I think that this level between the level of $2.90 and $3.11 is going to be an important level of probably a resistance. I think at first it will probably get rejected, potentially retest the 55 EMA and hopefully bounce from there. Indicators are looking healthy though, so I think in the next coming months I would look for a little bit more upside. And I might be looking at this level instead of $3.84 because a lot of price action was held up because, yeah, mainly in that level. So I think $3.84 more or less is going to be an important target. Are you still bullish on Lifecycle? Personally, Will, I've never owned the stock. I never had the stock, but I think long term it could be an interesting company. I think it's one of those companies you really need to believe in. I think that the company, if you're bullish on Lifecycle, it's a company that's probably needed to hold for like 5 years or so because it's a company that's in the first stages of Cesar is keeping me out of my concentration. What's up, man? It's one of the companies that's in the early stages of their process. So personally, I think the idea is good. I think I'm slightly bullish on Lifecycle in general, but yeah, it's definitely a long-term play. What's up, Cesar? I sold Workhorse today, so I have some extra cash. Bought 50 more VACQ. Let's go, let's go. Yeah, you probably heard that well, you saw that I bought VACQ last time, and I'm definitely going to add more VACQ with your position, so with your donation. So I appreciate that. KK Wally just subscribed. What's up? Thank you very much for being here. That's awesome. Oh, it says, so you have some cash. Yeah, I was actually thinking a little bit about Workhorse, if I wanted to sell or not. I decided against it. I didn't think it was worth it just yet, but I might actually sell a little bit of my portion if we do see more upside in the next coming days. We might actually be quite ready for a move back to the upside. If we close a like 15-minute candlestick above $14.85, I do honestly think we could see some more moves to the upside. But potentially at some point I might sell a little bit too. But yeah, the thing is, on the daily chart it still looks pretty good. On the 4-hour chart it looks okay-ish, but we're getting close. We're getting close. Let's actually go back to the daily for a second. Yeah, I think the 200 daily EMA is pretty important. So that's something I'll take a look at. 1 hour. 1 hour looks kind of toppy though. Does look a little bit toppy. But I can definitely see this push a little bit more to the upside in the next day, potentially even today. Yeah, potentially even today or tomorrow. Going to be interesting. Anyways, you got more VACQs. That's good. What did you say about the CRS-22? Is on his way to the space station. What did I miss? Not well, a little bit. I think my mission stuff and my updates and stuff like that. Lol, by the way, when I said too much kin, I meant you're showing too much kin. Oh boy. Yeah, in the beginning I was already like, man, I look like a gigolo almost. But if I close this button, it makes me feel super lame too. So it's sunny here. I mean, suppose it's in the United Kingdom. I suppose it's also kind of sunny right now. So I thought to unbutton just one button more, and yeah. Anyways, let's not talk about that too much because that doesn't really matter. Let's see. Visa says, "Ga je stoppen met vertalen? Are you going to stop translating?" At some point, yes. At some point, yes. So far, I'm already I've already decreased the amount of accounts I'm working with. I was, like last year or the year before, I was working with about 10 clients. Right now I only have 2 clients left, and those 2 clients provide me with a basic income, as you have been able to see in the first part of this stream. But at some point I definitely want to stop translating, and I want to fully focus on my mission to make sure that everyone knows how to manage their money. So yeah, I'll need the energy, I'll need the time, I'm going to need all of that to focus all of that on my mission. So yes, I'll stop translating. Thoughts on Nokia? They have been going strong lately. Nokia doesn't have a strong short float. I'm asking because it's a strong 5G play. Short float is under 1%. Really? Okay. What has the most volume? Has the most volume? Let's see. Nokia. Seems a little bit less. Whoops. Isn't it on the New York Stock Exchange or anything? No, this one, I guess. No, I'm not sure. I'll just look at the Finnish stock chart. What do I think? What do I think? What do I think? Just going to look at a few levels that I think are important. I think this level is or was important. I think this level more or less is important too. Let's see what else. What else? Kind of. Not too important, but it's okay. And this one too. And this one too. Yeah, so I think these are some of the most important levels right now for Nokia. I think it could definitely float back up to the this level more or less of $4.80, but am I bullish on this long term? I mean, if you look at the weekly chart, it looks pretty bad overall. Since basically 2015, we have been in a downtrend. Right now, well, there is something that is getting interesting right now, though. It does seem that we could potentially have a reversal. If you look at the weekly chart, for example, because yeah, from 2015 all the way down to basically April last year, more or less, we did have this downtrend of lower highs and lower lows. But right now we are creating higher lows instead. A low over here, higher low, higher low, higher low. So that is pretty good. And we're also creating higher highs. So we had a high over here, higher high over here, lower high over here, but we are going to create a higher high over here. So that actually looks pretty good, honestly. And longer term, in the next coming months, it could even be a turnaround play. As you say, it could be a strong 5G play. So if that's going to be the case, it could definitely be an interesting candidate for a turnaround play. Do keep in mind it already has a market cap of 25 billion. I'm not entirely sure how much revenue they're bringing in. Can we actually see that? Well, we can. Quarterly revenue 5 billion, 5.3, 6.6, 5 billion. Yeah, so revenue is pretty okay-ish still. Yeah, as you said, it could be an interesting 5G play for sure. Let's go to the lower term time frames. Let's go to the RSI here. Still looks pretty good. I could see one more move to the upside, but at some point I do think this is going to top out for the short term. Let's see what else. The MACD, a little bit like the same similar signature. I do think we could see one more push to the upside, but I kind of think we will see a correction at some point. We are quite far away from the 55 EMA, which is this white line over here. And I do think that the 55 EMA price action usually stays relatively close to the 55 EMA. For example, if we scroll into this part over here, you can see that price action gets quite far away from the 55 EMA. Price action is all the way here, 55 EMA is all the way down here, and at some point it does actually come back to the 55 EMA. Price action going horizontal, but 55 EMA catching up over time. And then it again diverges quite a bit from the 55 EMA over here, price action here, 55 EMA here. Price action comes down to meet the 55 EMA and then goes back down. Here it diverges a lot to the downside and comes back up. Here it goes back down to the downside, comes back up to the 55 EMA. So I think that overall, I think that at some point we will go back to the 55 EMA, either by going sideways and letting the 55 EMA catch up, or by going to the downside. And yeah, quickly going back to the 55 EMA to catch up with that exponential moving average. So I hope that makes sense. I think that, yeah, we could see one more move to the upside, but I do think at some point we will go back to that 55 EMA, if that wasn't clear just yet. K-Chen says, I feel Nokia is same story behind GMC or GME, I suppose. I don't have faith in Nokia future as a company. I'm not sure if Nesami agrees with me. So I don't really know a lot about 5G companies, about Nokia as a company. Right now, I don't see Nokia being an important brand anymore, but I don't really know how much they are involved with 5G. So I don't really know what their role is in the 5G space with regards to, well, you don't really need that. With regards to the mobile phone space, I don't really think they're a relevant brand anymore. But again, 5G could definitely be a player. What is your best stock you want to go all in? Funny, because I'm actually going to ask you that in about 1 hour and 15 minutes, because there's going to be a poll on my on my YouTube channel. And I basically ask that exact question. But if I look at my portfolio, it depends a little bit on what is your exact question? Your best stock you want to go all in? Yeah, that's basically my question. So it's difficult because if I would have to hold the stock for the next like 5 years, 10 years or so, I'm probably going to go for the safe route and go for something like Tesla. I think Tesla is one of the stocks that still has quite a lot of upside to go in the next 5 to 10 years. But I also think that Tesla is one of the safer plays, if you will, because if you compare it to a company like AgEagle, if AgEagle does well, they can do very, very well, and the stock can appreciate a lot in the next coming like 5 to 10 years. But the thing is, it's way more risky because we are not sure if AgEagle is going to actually be able to step up to become one of the leaders in the space, and no pun intended. So yeah, we just don't know that yet. There's a lot of insecurity, a lot of uncertainty with regards to the AgEagle stock. And that uncertainty is not really present for Tesla as much. Of course, there's a lot of people who are bearish about Tesla, but personally, I'm very bullish on Tesla. And I definitely believe in Elon Musk and the team to, basically do well and create beautiful cars and roll out the full self-driving system, so that we're going to drive autonomous cars in about like 5 years time, or potentially, probably earlier. So if I would have to go all in one stock and hold that for like 5 to 10 years, I'll probably go for Tesla. But apart from that, I mean, if TPGY is actually going to merge with EVBox, and we don't know for sure if that's going to happen, that is probably one of my stronger stocks too. That definitely has a lot of upside potential, and I do think that the risk is relatively limited if we see the merger with EVBox going on, because I definitely believe in EVBox. So those are probably some of my strongest conviction stocks. But basically, I've got a lot of strong conviction stocks. I believe a lot in Lemonade. I believe a lot in ChargePoint. I believe a lot in Upwork. I believe. Yeah, that's basically the top, actually. That's basically the top conviction stocks. Let's see, where were we? Nokia, short float. Cesar says, I only had 110 workhorse shares and I dislike the upper management, so not worth the stress. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I kind of had the same thing. I am going to give them a chance, an opportunity to basically show what they got this year, to make sure that they are going to actually execute on their goals, on their plans. But so far, honestly, I don't love the upper management either. It's definitely not a management team that I am in love with. But yeah, probably go to the moon. Yeah, you never know, man. I mean, right now we might even see that it actually is going to... Yeah. Yeah. I kind of think, just like I've been saying like 15 minutes ago or more or less, that we are going to see a move more to the upside. It was definitely looking to be another move to the upside. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen after 11 minutes. If we're going to get a closure on the 15 minute, I think we have a very big chance that this goes back to like $16 more or less. Nice swing trade stock right now. A very nice swing trade stock, or like day trade stock actually. Anyways, Hope you succeed and wish you luck, says Visa. Thank you. I hope so too. But I actually feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about it. It's not going to be a very short-term thing. It's going to take me years and years of effort and a lot of hard work and dedication and yeah, stuff like that. But I'm willing to put in the work for sure. Tesla is over 60% of my portfolio, says Cesar. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, I love Tesla too, man. I love it. I love it. Okay, I think that's going to be it for today. I'm going to have dinner and play a video game with my friends. And yeah, then maybe you can check out if Workhorse is going to have another push to the upside. I do think so. Let's see if we're going to go back to $16 more or less in potentially even today. I mean, this can go very quickly. This can go very quickly. All right, I'm going to be signing off. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, let's actually go back to scene number 1. Boom. If you have any questions or if you have any suggestions with regards to my portfolio, my business, my mission, the technical analysis course, YouTube, I said YouTube, Discord, then yeah, let me know, of course, in maybe the Discord or via email, support@nesami.com, or a comment below this video. So thank you very much for your time, for being here, and I hope to definitely see you in the next one, which probably is going to be in 1 month instead of 1 week. But yeah, please join the Discord, which is for free right now. That might change as well. By now, if you go to nesami.com/Discord, you can join for free, and at some point you'll be given access to the premium Discord channel for 1 month in time, so you can enjoy the benefits for that for 1 month, and you can see how beautiful it is. Okay, again, thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.